Hey, so on my third day, yes, only third. Unfortunately, I skipped it on the weekend. I am sorry for that, and I will do my best not to ever repeat it again. Yeah, so okay. On my third day, I finished this part of the course, and I took some notes through which I will go now. Uh, yeah, okay, so web and cloud development. Yeah, so from my understanding, it's nearly the same thing, both are stored online, but while you work with the website, you will be highly dependent on the web development technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which I will discuss briefly afterwards. Um, yeah, if you do a cloud development, it's not something I've been aware of before, but it should work on similar technologies from what I've heard in these videos. So yeah, do not trust me on this. Do your own research. I'll just walk you through the web development part. Yeah, so this was also highly a theoretical part of the course. I think all of the modules in the first course will be highly theoretical. And this is basically the request response model of the web servers. So you have your URL address or uniform resource locator in the address bar. There you put the URL and it sends requests to your web browser, which then searches for the information and it sends you some response. Yeah, now the interesting part for me was learning about the dynamic responses because I haven't had an experience with backend before. Um, yeah, so there's two types of responses you can get. And the first one is static, which can be HTML file designed with some CSS and JavaScript, which is already prepared on the database from your web server on the website that you are. But you can also have a dynamic response, which kind of makes sense because when you are shopping, for example, and you're inputting your own information there, then of course your order is not pre-generated, right? There would be a million of possibilities, probably more on a big e-shop. So yeah, based on your inputs, you can get a dynamic response, and it will also create an input into the server's database. For example, as I said with your order. Yeah, there's some description. I will not go through now. Yeah, front and back end. Um, I had a slight understanding of these before. I've always been told that the front end is the design of the website, the back end is the functionality. That's basically true, but it's an oversimplified explanation. Yeah, so here's a definition of backend, the simplest. I will go to more detail later. Yeah, so basically, the backend developer deals with the server before the code and data are sent to the client. Ah, sorry, not the backend developer, the backend itself. Yeah. It also handles the logic and functionality and the authentication of processes that keep data secure. And backend developers may also need to learn about relational or NoSQL databases. Um, I haven't had an experience with NoSQL databases before, but relational databases are based on SQL, where you have foreign keys and primary keys, which are related to one another. I will not go through the details now because it hasn't been discussed in the course, and I'm mainly documenting my progress here. Um, yeah, okay. Then it was mentioned about the developer tools, which video was it? Okay, never mind. It's somewhere in here. Yeah, so each developer is using IDEs or integrated development environments. Yeah, personally, I use Visual Studio Code. If you don't have it installed, I highly suggest it. This is the logo, and you can download it on this link. I'll put it in the description. Um, okay. Yeah, about front-end development. Yeah. Yeah, HTML is a structure of the page. Yeah, that's true. You have plenty of text, but it's not been discussed in the course yet, so I will not go over it. CSS is the design, yeah. Good example is even the image that IBM put into the video. And then you have JavaScript for some functionality. Yeah, you can see a form here or actually a login page. So that's what JavaScript can add. Um, oh, this one I didn't know about. There is actually an extension of CSS, which is the designing tool for web development. And there's two of them even. Probably even more when I think of it. But I've never worked with them before, so I hope there is something later in the course mentioning these two. Uh, okay, front-end libraries, yeah, based on JavaScript. React, Angular, and Vue. I only worked with React before, but I think all of them are component-based. Okay, backend development. Yeah, now it gets tricky for me. I will just mostly read through my notes because, yeah. Okay, so a backend developer creates and manages resources needed to respond to client requests. A backend developer also enables server infrastructure to process requests, supply data, and provide other services securely. Okay, so about processing requests. So when a user interacts with the website, then their action generates a request to the server, like we discussed it over here. Server website, yeah. Then the server processes this request by executing the necessary code to handle it. So this will be the code that the backend developer writes. Then, okay, supplying the data. After processing the request, the server retrieves the relevant data from a database or other storage. For example, if user searches for a product, the server queries the database to find matching items and send that data back to the front end for display. Yeah. Okay, so there will be some SQL code for the database, the query, which based on the information you search for, it could be a filter, it could be something else on a website. We'll just do an SQL query and then actually search for the information. And then provide services securely. Yeah, so for example, if you input sensitive information like a credit card, then it's not always saved in a password protected database that the web server has, but it's also encrypted. Yeah, so yeah, an example of encryption would be like, okay, so if you put password like 123, you could have some code made that one is translated into something, but yeah, so it could translate into ABC and then the password. Even if someone hacked the database, they wouldn't know this unless they have the source code as well. So it's yeah, it's securely done. Of course, on a different basis than that 123 to ABC. That wouldn't be secure at all. Um, okay, what does backend developer do? So backend developer processes data you enter while browsing, such as login information, product searches, and payment information. And he writes and maintains the part of an application that processes the inputs. Okay. Mm. Yeah, so backend developers focus on functionality that keep applications running, including user account management and data security. So user account management, for example, is the permissions that each user has depending on their role in the system or the website. Yeah, oftentimes you see that when you're on a website, you can register, and only after registration you can see some more contents. And then, for example, at registration, you can see something, but you may have to purchase a subscription to see even additional information and so on. So that's done by the backend developer. Uh, yeah, collaboration between frontend and backend. This was very interesting to me. Yeah, so the two sides discuss the requirements and expectations for features. So, for example, if a front-end developer wants to display user data, they will do the design, yeah, but then they will need the backend developer to send them the relevant data that they can actually display, right? API development. Yes, I am still not too familiar with APIs, but the backend developer creates APIs that the frontend can call to retrieve or send data. For instance, when a user logs in, Then the front end sends the login credentials to the backend via an API. Yeah, and then yeah, again, this model. Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Testing and debugging. Both developers work together to test the application. So if a feature isn't working as expected, they collaborate to identify whether the issue lies in the front-end code or the back-end logic. Yeah. Okay, daily tasks. Yeah, that's basically this, so I will not repeat myself. Yeah, this one was actually done thanks to this coach, because I asked for a specific example. Yeah, this is highly based on the databases, right? You have these are names of the columns. When it's hashed, it means that it's encrypted. These foreign keys mean that the user ID is a primary key in the user table. But yeah, okay, that's totally irrelevant for now. That's not mentioned in the course at all. So I wouldn't go through all of this. It's mostly just notes for myself for the future, so I know what to expect. Um, yeah, then okay, this might have been noted earlier, but in this activity, I noticed that HTML a, is noted as a part of frontend, while XML is noted as a part of backend. And so, yeah, HTML is the structure of the web page. You can see the image here, while the XML file actually stores data in an organized way. Yeah, and it's related to APIs, which I'm still not very confident about, but I will research more about it later, uh, which means on another days. Uh, okay, teamwork and squads. Yeah, this one is really good. This one's really good. Um, yeah, you can read through this. That's nothing unexpected. That's in any field the same. But what I really liked is the pair programming. The idea is that you have two programmers working on the same computer. Uh, yeah, it can be, physically or virtually through Teams or something. But if you have like, of course, every developer has different skill sets. And when you have two people working on the same computer, like I would have always thought it's unproductive because you're wasting time of two developers doing one thing. But it's actually true that they can share their knowledge, supplement the flaws for each other, check errors firsthand. So it will make the testing easier, there will be fewer typos, and the developers will learn from one another. Plus, they also develop soft skills which are needed to communicate with the stakeholders. So I would have never thought of this on my own, I think, just because of the idea how unproductive it would be to have two times the manpower on one task. But yeah, this sounds really good. And if I apply for a job, I will definitely ask if they do pair programming, just because I want to learn from the other developers as well and perhaps share some knowledge from IBM courses. Okay, tools in software development. Yeah, that's kind of where I ended with my notes. Version control. Yeah, so mostly Git and GitHub are used. I'm only familiar with GitHub. And yeah, the version control, I will explain more simply in, for example, the Microsoft applications. So in Word or in Excel, you can, if you restart your PC, oftentimes you have some versions saved of the file automatically. And you can go back to that version that is saved, even if you didn't save uh, your own file. You didn't name it, you didn't put it in some folder on your computer on some directory, but it stays there. And with GitHub, it's pretty similar, but each developer can save some information into the database. Well, not only database, into your code directory, and then you can integrate it back together at the end of the process. So that's it for my notes today. Thanks for checking on my progress, and I hope for you to join me. You don't need to necessarily do the IBM course, but if you do something similar, let me know in the comments that you are kind of joining in on the challenge to do something daily. Yeah, pardon me for the 2 days missing. It will not happen again. Yes, thank you, and have a nice day.